there, my fellow curious minds, and welcome back to Tech Advantage, the podcast where we talk about technology, business, and personal growth. I'm your host, Tondow Abraham, co founder of software engineer at Blue Mind Technologies, and today we have a special guest on this podcast. He's going to be sharing with us his journey as a builder and a software engineer at Monierate. So, could you introduce yourself?
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. This is Jeremy, and yeah, I'm a co-founder of Monierate and also a software engineer. Yeah, I think I started my software engineering journey around 2015, and I actually wrote my first line of code on paper. That was in 2014 when I had no laptop, right? But I started I bought my first laptop. That was in I think towards the end of 2014, and then by 2015, I actually started coding. Yeah, but though I took the coding very professional because I was doing those things just like, okay, something that makes sense then. But then I took it very professional. I got my first job. That was in 2018, stroke 2019. Yeah, thank you.
That's so great. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. And I'll just be asking you a short few questions that you can share to us about your experience as a builder.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So, how would you say your journey for tech has been so far? A lot of newbies, when they come into the tech space, they are really so overwhelmed by how difficult it is to start learning technology. And, the whole idea of writing codes seems to be so what's the right word I would use now? Scary. I think I can use that. So how could you just, encourage young developers to begin the whole phase of developing projects?
Okay, that's a very good question to start with because I'm a builder and I'm a software engineer, and there's a difference between being a software engineer and also being a builder. The mindset is different. The skills may be the same in terms of like the physical skills, like writing code, but the soft skills may be different in the sense that being a builder requires mindset, and you don't just build a software. You build something people could use, whether it's a website, a boat, a mobile app, or even a YouTube channel, right? To just build something. So,
Yeah.
uh, when it comes to writing code and how you can get started from your struggle, I mean, like get started despite the struggle and how you can overcome those challenges, I will just share a story of how I started writing code.
Okay.
In 2012, 2013, I was looking for a job, right? And I still with my family then, my mom and my dad and my siblings. So my mom and my dad, they stay in Nasarawa, that's along that towards towards that Nanya side, right? So, and when I came into to Abuja, I was like, okay, I'm going to try to get a job. And when I got the job, got help, I got the job. I was looking up like banners. Like, I mean, if you're going towards the Hussein Road, at that time, you will see a lot of people pasting banners on walls, billboard, and so forth and so on. And
There's not so much in the area. Even
exactly, that was, yeah, exactly. So, and I was looking up those things. Then one day I saw web development, web design, and I was like, what exactly is this? Right? So I then reached out to a friend, and he now told me that, you remember this friend of ours then, that was 3 years back, who came to our house. I was talking about how he started learning graphic design, but in their school they also teach web design, web development. And I was like, okay, yeah, I recall that friend. So I had to like reach out to the friend, and he then explained to me where exactly that is. I was like, okay, cool. He said if you learn those stuff, you could build things like Facebook, things like Twitter, things like to go. other stuff. And I was like, what? So like, so if I learn this is like computer stuff, so it was not about money at that time. I just wanted to just learn this thing and move forward. So
And I think sorry, before you go on, I think curiosity is like a fuel to learning almost anything. Now, this is not even specific to development now. The fact that you're just so curious about being able to build
yeah,
a site like to go Twitter, I think maybe that's like a major fuel to
exactly. And curiosity will lead you to a lot of good places if you actually have good mentors, good guidance, right? So that was how I just started this whole coding journey. But then I just learned it for 3 months. I didn't have the means to get started. Parents didn't want me to go pursue computer science or go do anything around computer because they felt it was like playing games, like toy, watching movies. That was all computer was to them. And so they didn't even give me the money to go buy a laptop. Even though I was telling them I want to buy a laptop. I was very young, I was just 15 years old. So it took about, I was from 2013 to 20, like 15. I was able to like save some money and afford my own, like I bought a system myself. I like saying I bought it myself because many people out there are looking for who buy them a laptop, right? It's not bad, right? That depends on your mindset. But I felt that okay, I'm gonna buy it myself, right? And but before I actually bought the laptop, I was practically writing codes on paper. So I wasn't waiting for the conditions to be perfect.
be
I tried to create a perfect conditions. I want to believe, in fact, I believe, and I want to also believe all the time is there are no perfect time. There are only opportune time. So, in fact, before you can be able to have a perfect time, you first of all must have made use of the opportune time that you have. So, the only time that I have was I had curiosity, I had passion, and I had a pen, I had a notebook. Those are like opportunity for me to start writing code on paper.
okay. I think you have no idea, but I'm really learning so much from your experience. I'm taking some notes down, and this is very insightful. So yeah, go on.
Yeah. So, and that was how I began the whole thing. And like, I mean, I bought that laptop and things just went forward. Like, like after writing code on paper for many months, and then you just get the laptop, all those codes you're writing on paper, you began writing them on inside the computer, deploying them, running them, and so forth and so on. In fact, the word deploy wasn't common then, it was more of hosting it. Like the word, let me deploy this app wasn't really common there. It was like, let me host this stuff on things like Filezilla, and so forth and so on. So the first project I attempted to do was a chat app. And I tried to build something like Facebook. I didn't really build it well because of that aspect of the chats. I didn't understand how to design the database for that at that time. But then what I really did well was Twitter, because Twitter was also basically who follows you, who sees your post, right?
Easy.
So I was like, okay, if, I'm going to build a system that have this record in it, MySQL database, create some relationship. If you follow this account, you'll be able to see any post they make. The database wasn't that perfect in terms of the design, but it allowed me to think a lot about how to build a good backend system. In fact, that was what made me to start liking backend because I was like, okay, the success of a product, how good it is, depends on how the backend system is designed. If it's designed well, it will last decades. If it's badly designed, it will continue to have issues. So that was how I started. And if you listen to the whole thing carefully, you discover that I wasn't waiting to have everything before I got started. So for anyone out there trying to learn how to code, start with what you have and just write code. Just write code. Just write code.
That's
Yeah.
really great advice. Thank you so much. So moving forward to the next question. Before I even ask the next question, let me just give this background information. I met Mr. Jeremy at a Bit Knob boot camp. They
Yeah.
they hosted a developers boot camp. I think it was 2 days or was it 3 days?
2 days. Yeah. 2 days.
Yeah. So the first impression I got from you when I saw you, man, I saw this big guy. Or more, you seem like a very sophisticated developer, and I think your co-founder was also at that event, Mr. Onions, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, when I saw you and I saw the work, when they gave us like a few minutes to talk about what we're building, and then you shared your work at Monierate. Immediately you shared your work, I just went to look it up immediately. I just typed monierate.com. I think I spelled it wrongly the first time, but I saw some Google recommendations and then I just see it and I was like, whoa, you guys are doing big stuff. And then when Bitnote was talking about APIs and connecting the Bitnote APIs to products, I really couldn't relate to most of the things they shared because I'm not really so much of a Web3 developer, but I really was inspired by the work you had put in. And I didn't know that I would even start this podcast, but I was just looking for a good way to network with you and get some information. And I feel like this podcast is just a good platform for me to learn also from you. So thank you so much. Let's end this class. So moving forward, when I read your bio for the dev circle and I saw that you already have a huge track record of so much stuff. I was so impressed. Plus, you stated that you had built Twitter from like the age of 17. And I really not understand the story as you just share it here. You really have done so much in the tech space, and I hope our listeners would be able to get good information as they follow along with us. The next question I'll just ask him now is, could you just share how networking with other developers and, colleagues at events or places that you have been able to propel you to a certain phase?
Okay, yeah. When it comes to networking, first of all, I like to say that most people out there are introverts. And if you want to put my introvert level, that's my degree of my introvert, in a scale or measure it, I think you, in a scale of 10, I should be 0.4, right? I like to just be by myself. I mean, 4. I mean, in the scale of 10, 4. I mean, I was just thinking instead of 0 to 1. Okay, yeah, but in a scale of 10, it should be 4, right? So I just like to
But
be
on
by myself.
the first impression I had of you, I didn't really think you to be an introvert, honestly.
Oh
But
my goodness. Okay, so so in a scale of 4, I'm 4. I like to be by myself. But then something is very interesting that I learned. When I go to event, I don't tend to like stand up and say, "Hey guy, how you doing? My name is Jeremy. This is what I do." I hardly do that because of my kind of person. I find it very difficult. I mean, I'll prefer to solve more complex maths problem than to say hi. That have some like disadvantage in terms of you tend to grow a little bit slow because people actually make your life faster. There's statement that says that you go fast if you go alone, you go really well if you go with people. The fact is, you go fast if you actually go with people that matters. Yeah, like
honestly, that's very
you go fast, people that matters. Yes. So if I was like that kind of guy, like my co-founder, if I was like him, maybe I should have actually add more value to the world than I have added right now, right? So because when I go to event, I just stay quiet, and most times it's someone who have more courage, reached out and they reconnect, or maybe they asked the question, I answered differently, and the person found it interesting, or just something random, just like hit up,
I think that
you
is
know.
even how we could have our first conversation. You guys were having like a group discussion on in
Exactly,
the
exactly.
find it interesting that we
Yeah, I think I remember very clearly where like we're having this issue of trying to connect with the Bitcoin API with Goose. Yeah, exactly. So the
did that.
yeah, when it comes to networking, one thing that have worked for me, and I learned it from Jack Dorsey, because that was actually learned it from Jack Dorsey before that event. That's meeting with Jack Dorsey, because he was like this builder I really admired. Him and the co-founder of Telegram. These are like the two builders I really admire because they are still builders today. They didn't just made money and then start running companies and not do anything about tech. They are still like in the coding space. They contribute a lot. They speak the tech language as much as often, right? So he said something. He said, "You want to build stuff before you meet people." Yeah, You want to build stuff before you meet people because you will resonate well with people through stuff you've built rather than trying to just connect and make friends without building stuff. So yeah, so that becomes like, okay, because if you meet Dangote today or if you meet Mark Zuckerberg today, you can have his contact, you can have his phone number saved on your phone, and he can even have yours saved too on your phone. But do you know that there won't be friendship or value sharing in that relationship if
Like, how then would that translate to something reasonable? Just
exactly, exactly. So like, yeah, for example, now why we are talking today is because you started the podcast. I mean, like, yeah, that's something I like. And I started listening to your podcast. I listened to the first and the second episode, and you see, so that's value, right? You did something that I found valuable, right? So it's how people connect. Almost most of the friends that the quality relationship I have right now came because I built stuff, and that stuff resonated with people, and then we connected. So my advice when it comes to networking is build stuff and share that stuff with people and then connect because life is about value sharing, right? You can have the phone number of Mark Zuckerberg and he can have your phone number, but you guys won't really do business or do anything if you don't have value to him or he doesn't have value to you. Of course, he has a lot of value, but he may not give you that value, right? Mark Zuckerberg tried to hire the guy. There's a young guy that Mark Zuckerberg tried to hire because the guy knows so much about AI. Mark Zuckerberg paid over $100 million just to get that guy. In fact, the guy even declined as an offer. Why? Exactly. Why? Because of value. The guy built stuff on AI that makes Mark Zuckerberg want to connect with him, right? So I am of this advocate that you want to build stuff before you start meeting people. No matter how shy you are, if you build stuff that are really good and you attend events, you just go around, go outside there, people will, if you can't get to them, they will get to you. And then you guys can start conversation, you guys can become friends. And that's it. And if your product has value to them, you guys will have a bond. For example, your podcast had value to me, and now we have a bond, right? You get so that is how you can be able to connect and network with more people.
yeah. Thank you so much for that point. So I would also like for you to share with us how you met your co-founder. And I also think I heard you say you met Jack Dorsey. I do want you to share all of this story.
Okay, yeah. So how I met my co-founder, you know, before Monierate, I actually started a company, like a company, a crypto company. Then I was like focused on I was doing cryptocurrencies and so on. So I started to build this application that allow you to save some money in naira and you get some reward in crypto. For example, instead of you, let's say now you save let's say 100,000 naira and we're to give you 10% interest. That's about 10,000 naira. Instead of giving you that interest in naira, that interest get converted into Bitcoin and sent to your Bitcoin wallet. That was like the idea. Yeah, at that time.
Does the product still exist like now?
No, we shut down because we were hacked. We were hacked and we lost money. And then we started dabbling into other kind of cryptocurrencies that were not as good as Bitcoin. I mean, these are some of the mistakes you learn if you have invested in other coins before. You just get to realize that there's no coin other than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the holy grail and will always be the holy grail.
Bitcoin is king, as they say.
It was king, man. So we invested in other coins, and then we lost a lot of money. We got hacked, and then we had to shut down the platform. I think he did about $30,000 in transaction within 6 months at that time. Yeah.
That's impressive.
So that was how I met him. I think you see, like I was telling you, when you build stuff and your friends have an event, you become interesting, right? So when I met him, he came for this event at Conversity. And when I met him, I think we just at the end of the event, we started. So there's this guy that was playing guitar. started playing guitar, we started singing, we started dancing. So I think we were like about 10 to 15. That's after the event. So we just gisting, talking about things. Then before you know it, he not asked me like I just told him what I built. And he was like, cool. So he not asked me, where do I stay? Where's my office? And I was like, my office is at Novamo. That's this Novamo at Zone 5. That's behind the PDP house.
Serious.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I have an office there at the time. So the next, I mean, can you imagine the next week he came? That was the event was on Saturday. By Tuesday he was there. Yeah, it just came. Yeah, I came for a visit. I came with his friend Miracle. So that was how we continued relationship from there. I never knew that okay, that company I was working on is gonna shut down and I would start something else and then we'll become co-founders.
Awesome. You really meet up.
Yeah. So that was how I met him.
Okay. So also to how you met Jack Dorsey.
Yeah, so man, bro, man, meeting that Dustin was life changing, bro. And I would say it, man, it was life changing because not that he gave me money or he gave us money, but what happens to our mind, to my mind especially, it just made it clear to me that you could do things regardless of where you are from, though the impact or the consequences may differ, but you can do things. You can do things. Yeah. So and think what happened there was when the company shut down, I was not in debt. I was about $17,000 in debt. I was broke. I had no money to make the matter worse. That was a very hard time in my life. I had an accident. I couldn't even pay my rent in Usi. Then I had to move back to my parent house. I was just I think I was yeah, I think I was just thinking of what to do next. In fact, I wasn't even thinking of what to do. In fact, a friend called me the end of 2021. He asked me, what is my goal for next year? That was 2022. And I was like, bro, I don't have any goal. He was like, how do you mean, bro? I've always known you as this guy that's very, like, like up, like very active, audacious. I was like, no, bro, I don't have any goal. I just want to live life, read my Bible, sleep, and eat. And he was like, where are you right now?
I feel like almost everyone at the point in their life, they all get to this point of like almost no return.
Yeah, yeah. So, if I had come from a rich family, $17,000 would have been paid back easily. Bro, like no, no, nah. I didn't come from no. And you lose $17,000. Do you know how much? Do you know how many years it's gonna take you to make that amount of money? And friends who trusted me from campus who gave me that funds. Other people I met during after school gave me that funds. Even this my co-founder even had he even gave me some like his funds were also part of the funds I lost. I think about $150 or so, something like that. So it was very hard for me that day. So I was just reading my Bible, praying, and sleep. Code, pray, and sleep. Code, read Bible, pray. So that was my routine. And then towards July, August, my co-founder sent me a message that I should apply for this stuff. It's happening in Ghana. Because he knew that I worked on Bitcoin, the stuff that allow you to earn some Naira and get paid in Bitcoin. So he was like, okay, I can apply for this stuff. And they're hosting an event, and the event starts in December, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply. I didn't really take it serious at the time, but then I had said, okay, let me check out who are the event sponsors, right? Who are the speakers? And I saw Jack Dorsey as one of the sponsor and also as a speaker. And I was like, what? This is gonna be awesome, man. So the moment I saw Jack Dorsey, I was like, this is going to be like one in a lifetime, right? It's gonna be wonderful, it's gonna be awesome. I have no choice but to apply, even if I didn't even know how I was even going to afford to travel to Ghana, to Accra, because that was where the event was holding at the time.
Okay.
So but then I looked at the description and I saw that if you can apply for this program and you got in as a developer that's becoming an African Bitcoin fellow, you will get free flight, free accommodation, and free transport, and you're going to meet people. I was like,
Wow.
man, ah,
For free?
like it seems God like arranged this plan, like this event, like so. That was how I just quickly applied, and as usual, just pray about things, and then I applied. And funny enough, I was in a church service. I was like 1 month or 2 months later, I was in a church service, and I just received an email, you know,
And you were selected and got boots?
that, and it was like,
Wow.
you go, man, there you go.
That the entire session was like free flight and free accommodation. I feel like Jack Dorsey would have put in so much amount to sponsor that
No.
event.
Like yeah, like he was the one, like he was like the biggest sponsor. In fact, the company, the arm which he uses to sponsor those events, it's called BitTrust, right? Like, it's called like BitTrust, yeah. So
I think I've seen Beatrice on so many profile and
yeah,
bias that you
right.
shared.
It's called
Some other developers in the group.
yeah. BitTrust at the time was called Kala then, and uh, Kala was co-founded by Bitno co-founder, which is Bernard
Okay.
Abubakar, and then another guy, Femi. Yeah. So yeah, but then they sold it to BitTrust. Yeah. So yeah. So that was like the arm that Jack Dorsey used to like sponsor that event. So that was how. And the what made it so sweet was not just because I was selected. I called my guys and they were all selected. Like Onius Mama, co-founder, who became a co-founder, was selected. That is friend called Miracle was selected. A guy called Chas was selected, and a guy called Samson was selected.
Just like some brotherhood bonding for you guys.
If you are Abuja guys, like we're all from Abuja, so going to a new country with same homies, it makes so much.
Yeah, that would be great experience.
So everything was just, I was like, wow. So it happens that over 1,000 people applied, and only 17 were selected.
Wow. So have you seen?
Imagine 17 were selected, and out of that 17, 4 of us were friends.
Wow.
Wow. Yes.
You guys must have put in like a sufficient portfolio to even get up.
Like, I don't know what any other person applied. We all applied. I don't know if maybe the other friends like talked to each other before they applied, but I don't know what my friend applied. He didn't know what I applied. We just applied,
That's
and
fine.
you see 17 people in the room. 2 girls, still about three girls, and the rest were male. Two other guys from Kenya, Togo, Senegal, and so yeah. So we go to that event, and the event started where I think it didn't wasn't around the first day. He didn't come the first day, but the second day, it was announced that Dorsey is in Accra. Man, I mean, the whole atmosphere, everything just changes. So that was how we were just waiting to see him. Now it happens that we are part of the African Bitcoin Fellow. Through that fellowship, we spoke to our leader, and he said, "I'm going to organize for you guys a simple dining, like a simple get together with Jack Dorsey." So that was how he organized a room, and Jack Dorsey came in. We all sitting down there waiting for him. Then he came in, and then the whole room was just clapping like legend.
Legend.
Is it like you know how it feels like to see somebody?
I understand that feeling. I've gotten to meet like a couple of prominent people in their field, and everybody just looks up to them in so much awe.
Exactly. So this was even more different because he was a coder, and not just a coder. He has built more than 3 companies that worth billions of dollars. Cash App, Block, Twitter, and Square. They're all billion-dollar companies, and he was the co-founder of it. So that feeling was super, and he was humble. Like he was so humble, open to relate. Of course, there were security guards, like some sophisticated bouncers around him, but you may not notice until you try to get close to him. right? But he was so humble to let anybody to take photo. In fact, so many of us in that group didn't even care about what he had to say. Of course, we care, but it was more of man. Let's snap, man.
Anyhow, the Africa's comedy.
Like, yeah,
This one, that,
yeah,
trust all the
yeah.
people.
Of course. That was something because it's a moment that you may not be able to see again. So why not just have good memories of it and store those memories? So that was how. But then I think we asked questions, and then I asked the question of how do you build stuff and what do you do when you build stuff? And he was like, yeah, uh, just when you build stuff, you could start meeting people and telling people about the stuff. And when it comes to raising money, just meet the right investors. Do a simple research about them and meet as much as you can meet. Because no matter how good you are or where you're from, so many people are going to turn you down. I was turned down over 300 times. Imagine Jack Dorsey being turned down over 300 times. And I asked myself, how many times have I been turned
I
down?
have even tried, guy.
Yeah, you get it. This is somebody I admire. This is somebody I want to be like. But then he's saying that he has been turned down over 300 times. And I was like, imagine after starting $2 billion companies, yet you are starting another one, people still turn you down. How much more you that haven't started a single thing? Why on earth will people not turn you down? Can you be to answer that question? Like somebody that hasn't started anything in his life before, start something and expect people to just come and give him money. Why somebody that built $2 billion companies before two unicorns, yet people still turn him down? Like, yeah. So that was like an eye opener, and this is this is real, man. So rejection is part of how you know you're actually making progress. You know,
Yes.
but first of all, build something really good. Just build something good. Go out there and talk more about it. Meet the right investors and talk as much as you can talk to.
I think very few of us even get to go past the building phase because
Exactly.
that's like essential for you to even network like you were explained previously. Like these people want to talk about what you built. And very
Yeah.
few of us know how to build stuff. We just want to have the skill, give it to other people that would pay us for it, rather than thinking of how to be builders in the community.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe I said this before earlier. I was looking up a guy content on Twitter, and he said when he got to San Francisco, there was an event he went to. He said everybody in that event was asking him, "What are you building? What are you building? What are you building?" Like this is like the capital of software, right? And the one
Mm.
thing that matters is what are you building, right? So people connect with you based on what you're building. The guy said, "How cool the stuff you are building determine how much relationship you can get, whether it's both
Mm.
female and male. I mean, like if you are building a hot tech startup, both male and female will come to you.
Mm.
You get so build stuff and build really good stuff, and then go out there. Don't just build stuff and be inside your house. Get out. I mean, you want to win war. It's really said that you have to step out, right?
Yes.
So we have to really build stuff, and that was something I was able to get from Jack Dorsey, and seeing a billionaire saying that same thing, like face to face, makes so much sense and felt so much different. And when I came back, I said, no, I'm going to build stuff. I'm going to fix stuff.
That's a really great way to implement any knowledge. Just implement.
So that was it, bro. That was it. Yeah.
Oh. So thank you so much for being on this podcast. I really do appreciate the time you've spent with us, and I'm sure our listeners are very much inspired by your story. I think subsequently we'll have you come on board to tell us any strategic skill on doing certain things, like maybe in a space that you can just enlighten us, teach us about something very specific that we can implement.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. All good.
All right.
Like I'm always open. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. And so, to our listeners, I'll just give a short recap. So, Mr. Jeremy shared with us a few things. He told us how we need to build stuff before networking with people, told us how we need to always code and work on building stuff, get to work, and ultimately things will just fall in place. So yeah, this will be our takeaway session, and take advantage. I hope you guys make technology your advantage and be useful with all of the resources that I share on this podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great week.